Playing the intro.
Okay.
Wait, I need an instrument.
This is Steve Downs.
Is this in C?
The voice of
Probably
Master
not.
Chief, Spartan 117. Welcome to
No, I
Quality
can't
Time,
remember. It's E
the
something.
KO
Okay, I'll play
Koala
it E.
Entertainment Podcast. Anthony and Skylar will take it from here. Master Chief,
This sounds okay.
out.
Welcome to Quality Time, the KO Koala Entertainment Podcast. My name is Anthony Nicolosi.
And I'm Skylar Sokol, and that was a beautiful rendition of the intro that will definitely get edited out of the podcast, so go to YouTube if you want to hear something horrible.
Yeah, well, Steve Downs definitely thought it was cool, for sure. This week we are continuing our topic from last week, console versus PC. We had a ton of really
PC versus console.
PC versus console. Good feedback from the community over on Instagram, so we wanted to talk through it, let it guide our conversation this week. There's so much to this topic that I think we'll touch on, but so there's sure to be more follow-ups to at least maybe subtopics of this topic. But anyway,
I Googled it a little bit right before we recorded. I was just Googling some stuff. There's so much shit. Like every year, people posting about PCs selling better, consoles selling better. This game sold better. They hear this game, so it's like everyone wants to talk about this topic. It's a big topic, and I mean it matters, right? Because like it's funny because basically at this point, consoles are just PCs, and PCs are just consoles. Like Steam Big Picture mode exists, which basically turns your PC into a console. Xbox app for PC exists, which basically turns your PC into a console, right? And then consoles are just moving more and more towards being PCs. So we're coming to the grand unification at some point.
That's a very interesting place to start because this week we had a post where we asked the community, what did they prefer, PC or console, and what were some of the biggest reasons why?
Right.
And Mateusz Jablonski, I got your potatoes on Discord.
You want to give his address and social security number too?
Literally, his Instagram handle is Mateusz Jablonski.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
His social are at the end of his handle.
Okay. Yeah. Mateusz Jablonski 511-663642 or something, right?
Well, if you nailed it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So he said he preferred console. I wanted to touch on it because you just mentioned something relating to it. I prefer console because you can play with friends at home, and on PC you can't really experience the hearth. So
call it out, Jesse Shell.
Shout out to Mateusz
fucking for pandering to Anthony, getting the Jesse Shell award. All right, that's interesting.
I'll tell you, because he's my brother-in-law, I know that in his particular scenario, the hearth is a huge deal in their household, right? There's four teenage boys who regularly game all the time and regularly game with each other all the time, right? So the split screen hearth goodness is very prominent, feature for them.
Yeah.
Now you've done more of this, like you do some of this playing on the couch, PC games on the couch, right? I just
plug my laptop HDMI into the TV. You can get something called a Steam Link, which basically works over your internet and just over the LAN and streams whatever's happening on your PC onto the TV, so you can basically just like play your games from your PC on your TV. So there have been peripherals and features that have been existing to do exactly that.
Yeah,
because that is something you lack on a PC, right? Like, it's hard to have other people with you when you're playing PC. Like, I can have someone sit next to me, but that's basically it, right? Like, I can get one person in here, and then it's probably too much after that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that gets into, like, an interesting thing around, like, either using the Steam Link, like you were just saying, or, just running an HDMI over to your TV or something. Like, you're definitely able to play games, PC games on TV and stuff, but I think that when developers generally are targeting the PC demographic, this is maybe a topic for another venue discussion surrounding around the workstation per Jesse Shell, but like, you don't expect the target demographic maybe most of the time to be playing local multiplayer split screen, right?
Not necessarily, but there have been a huge amount of indie games that have come out even in the past few years that are local multiplayer sort of party games.
Split
That are on PC. Like Gang Beasts, games like that.
Okay.
Not even split screen, like games that can be played on one screen, so you don't even need to split it, right? Everyone's on the same screen.
Well, we played that. What was that one fighting game we played?
Dive Kick?
Was it Knife Kick? The one that was like you had alligators and it was like all crazy? Anyway, maybe.
Oh, Lethal League.
Lethal League. Lethal League is the one.
Yeah, and that one has local multiplayer, right? There's been a lot of games like that have come out, so they do it a bit, and I mean, any console game that's split screen nowadays is probably going to be on PC as well, right? So I don't know. I think it is the traditional view, though, is that console was for the living room, PC is for it's like the venue. Console's in the hearth, PC's in the workstation, but I think that line is blurring for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will. I'm gonna finish that out with as we said on that Hearth episode for the podcast. I want to say it's episode 7. If you're interested, go check it out. The Kings of the Hearth, Nintendo, right? And that
and inaccessible from anywhere else because of their exclusivity. Although, granted, interesting to call them the Kings of the Hearth when most of their consoles, especially the Switch, right, is built to be able to be played outside the hearth as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we'll touch on that in some people's view. A lot of people preferred the Switch the most.
Trying to cross venues, the cross venue console.
I mean, hey, it's definitely a lot of people do love that.
I mean, considering how popular mobile games are, I would want to get into that space if I could with my console, right?
If we look at it from a venue perspective, you're tapping in, like you said, to multiple venues. You're tapping into the Hearth venue. You're tapping into the Reading Nook venue, per the way Jesse described it. The one that so far is dominated by mobile games.
Right.
We'll probably continue to.
Mobile games and these weird new things called books.
What is those? Do I? Maybe these digital Kindle books should have in Twitch idle chat mechanics. So the more you in, you just get this artificial increase.
I will tell you, I read books in the Kindle app on my phone, and it does tell you how many minutes you have left in the chapter and the book, and I think that actually motivates me to continue reading.
Or just even that progress bar.
Yeah.
I think you have it on the desktop web app, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that shit motivates me, dude. It definitely does. I'm like, this chapter's only 10 minutes. Hell yeah, I'll read that.
Yeah, I got this. Me too. Same.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. No, that's good. Tucker Krause came very well articulated.
Is this his Instagram handle, Tucker Krause?
Tucker_Krause.
What are all these first name, last name Instagram people? All right.
I know. Watch out, guys. Take one from Dr. Chinchilla. Obfuscate that name. All right, here we go. Here's what he says. Looking at the PS5 specs, you can build a PC very similar for around $1,200, or in a year when RTX 3000, RX 6000, and Ryzen 4000 launch, even cheaper. The PS5 is rumored at $500, but when you factor in PSN, so I want to.
That's something we totally missed.
Yeah, we totally missed it last time, and I thought it was so good he called it out here. When you factor in PSN, which let's be real, everybody pays for, it's $60 a year plus a console generation is about 7 years, or about $420 in total.
Damn, that's the maintenance that we talked about with PC. We never had a parallel console, but that's totally the console maintenance is the network subscription. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Really good insight.
I had forgotten that was even a thing because I play PC games so much. I forgot you have to pay for that shit.
Yeah, you got to think with apparently the loss they take on hardware at the beginning of a console generation. And he even calls it out. You could build something similar to the PS5, with the update SSD, maybe for, he says, $1,200. It's going to be more than $500 is the point. So if they take a loss at hardware up front, not necessarily hundreds of dollars, they have different deals there on the manufacturing side, but they take a loss on the front. That's a way they recoup their costs, right?
Yeah, totally.
Monthly subscriptions. So anyway, he says on PC, Epic Games Store has free games weekly, and everywhere has free online, so you're not losing anything there. So he also
holy shit, dude, does Epic Store have good free games too? This isn't your run-of-the-mill shitty free games. These are games released in the past couple years that are AAA titles that are free. It blows my mind when I see some of the games that are free on there.
So this is why you buy the Fortnite stuff, guys. Okay, keep allowing
Keep Epic up because they do good shit.
Yeah, quite frankly, Epic, all things considered, I think have been pretty have done admirably with the extra cash they've generated.
Agreed.
Between that stuff and the stuff they do with for developers with Unreal Engine and all that stuff.
Totally.
So he keeps going.
Okay.
So when you factor in all those costs that a PC doesn't have, you get much more. You get more bang for your buck on the PC. He says.
Right.
Customization and better looks also is a thing he prefers. You also get mouse and keyboard controls everywhere, which is something he prefers. 144 plus FPS.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's like in my opinion, one of the biggest arguments is the FPS argument.
Well, we talked about it last time, right? It's something that when you experience it is extremely hard to go backwards on.
Very much. I have a friend whose game was running at like 60 FPS, and I was like, "Come on, that's fine, dude." He's like, "No, I can't stand it. I hate it."
Yeah. Well, on previous podcasts I talked about like one of the reasons I just like could not get into Destiny was because it was at 30 FPS on consoles and just couldn't do it. And especially after Halo moved to 60 and everything, like it's just can't do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he also adds along with mod support. He likes mod support. That's something we kind of touched on last time, I think.
Yeah.
But
I mentioned it at least, but I'm not sure we had an extensive discussion about it.
Yeah, several people called it out here, including Mr. Turtle Fist Pump, who's in the chat. Anyway, he says another thing he likes, which I think I touched on somewhere. I might have touched on it in Instagram talking to people, but the nice thing about playing on PC is that you use your PC for other stuff. And like his case, he's like, I use it for school and stuff, and it's nice to just be able to hop into gaming. Like
totally, dude. I'm working from home. I'm like, all right, I gotta wait an hour for this pipeline to run. Hop into some ranked Valorant with like one button press.
Or I was telling you this weekend, right? Like I need to wait for this code to compile, and I can. Not only do I need to wait for the code to compile, but then afterwards, I know I'm going to just be running through a debug cycle for a while. So it's like I have 7 minutes. I can just alt tab into Rocket League and play free play for 5 minutes.
Or play a ranked match.
I could if my dude. I got fucked on internet on ones the other day. Like went back down to like
the lag.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Anyway, he closes out a few games like Spider-Man being an exclusive for the PS4 aren't enough to outweigh the benefits in his opinion of PC. And PC still gets all the third-party games, and if you're into strategy or simulation games, PC has a much greater selection.
They are the king of those two genres by far.
And he finishes with including having every now Xbox exclusive, including Halo Infinite.
Yeah, that's a great post. Who is this from?
This is Tucker Krause, a fantastic post. He's and this is actually from previous conversations with Tucker. He's he was historically an Xbox guy, so he's transitioned over to PC and is enjoying it.
That's what I was a Nintendo 64 guy, and then I got a GameCube guy, and then I got converted by BioShock. BioShock was the first PC game I ever played, even though it wasn't even a PC exclusive.
Yeah, once you make that investment and you get set up on the PC, I don't think I know anybody or I've heard of any story of somebody who makes that investment and then goes back to console.
Yeah, like they regret it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. I just want to finish out because I asked him, what do you think in regards to convenience and ease of use? Since that's
one of the big console arguments. Yeah.
He said personally, and this, I think what he says here is something that is just true for a lot of PC people. He said, personally, I actually enjoyed building my PC. It wasn't even an inconvenience. It was like an expensive and fragile Lego.
That's very true. That's how it feels. And then the first time you flip the switch to turn it on and it like doesn't turn on, you're like, fuck. And then like the troubleshooting begins.
Yeah, and he says like, for UI, it can be definitely smoother on console since it's like, all optimized and strictly gaming. But yeah, he just reemphasizes all the previous benefits he had that he liked. So, there's a lot of people who I've run into like PC who that's how they feel too. Like they enjoy sort of the I'm going to say hobby of maintaining the PC, if you will. So for those people, it doesn't matter if there's a little bit more work.
I mean, like, if you get excited about new consoles coming out every 7 years or whatever, get a PC, and then you can get excited about, like, new graphics card coming out, like, every 3 months.
Yes.
You don't have to wait 7 years to get hype.
Yeah, it's true. So Butters.end says it's something that I think focuses on just how the different platforms cater to different parts of the gaming demographic. Because Butters.end says, I played my first games on consoles, but PC took me to a whole new experience. I know consoles awesome, but it just feels good to explore the virtual world with WASD and mouse in hand.
You're right. You're right, my brother.
So the thing there, and others said something similar, is that consoles are in a lot of ways for many people a gateway into PC gaming, if you will. Like their gateway, if you think of it from that venue's perspective, if somebody starts off maybe in mobile gaming, especially modern day kids, this isn't something that's kind of like crazy for me to think about, but for a lot of the younger generation right now, the first games they're going to play are on their phone, right?
Totally.
And then the console is a step up in seriousness of the and of especially in regards to investment into gaming.
Yeah. In our generation, it sort of felt like the Game Boy was like the first thing you played on, right? And then the console was the step up. But now you have a phone, which everyone has, so it's not even an investment. There's zero investment basically for phone games.
That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Yes. And so then the console's the first exclusively gaming related investment, if you will. The person gets exposed to those types of experiences, which are still not really available on mobile, even though the rise of cloud gaming is coming. You can't play those games unless you have some dedicated hardware for it, and then some people transition from there into PC.
Until my phone is as big as a TV, I don't give a shit about playing AAA games on it.
Or if I have like those Iron Man holograms, except it has to look good.
That's legit.
That'd be sweet. You throw down like your little cube computer.
My GameCube. Oh wait, that name's already taken. Sorry. Sorry, Oculus.
Right. Okay, so Carson Lewis 5 says PC, so another PC. Don't get me wrong, I love, in capitals, love console. Console-specific games are just unbeatable sometimes. I just find that you can find great games on PC for $20 that have the same amount of content as some $60 console games.
This is just talking about indie games in general is the big thing, I think. Like, I don't know. This is becoming less of a PC thing since consoles are supporting indie games better now. But the fact that, like, I can buy a game, like recently I've been playing a game called Hades, which was like $15 or something. And this game easily, like, or The Binding of Isaac is probably the best example because that game has like hundreds of hours of content and originally sold for like $15 or $20, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Same with Rocket League too, right? Like in Rocket League, even though it's on both, right? There are these games that exist that are cheaper. And yeah, I don't know. This may be an argument more for indie games than for PC, but the availability of those games is definitely higher on PC.
Well, I want to touch on this real quick because also there was big news this past week since the time we recorded the previous episode that NBA 2K was going to be releasing at $70.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So a lot of people were talking about how other publishers, so Take-Two Interactive, publicly traded company, they were saying like other publishers might follow suit and raise game prices to $70. And this started, we asked Instagram and Twitter what they thought about the price.
Leave it to EA to raise video game prices. Just say it.
Yeah, well, this time was Take-Two. This time was Take-Two.
NBA 2K not EA?
No, it's Take-Two.
But isn't it published by EA?
No, it's Take-Two. Also, 2K is actually like a publisher. I don't know if subsidiary is the right word, of Take-Two Interactive.
Oh, okay.
So, did you know BioShock? I didn't know BioShock was published by Take-Two.
That I think I did know.
Okay, yeah. I knew they did some shooting game, but I couldn't remember. Anyway, point is they raised it for $70 for a sports title that has annual releases, right?
That's literally the same game every year, yeah.
Yeah. So last week we touched on the fact that the average console gamer buys 2 games a year, right? I tried very hard to find data. I couldn't. That it might be locked behind this $2,500 data report, but I tried to find data on what percentage, if they have a way of knowing what percentage of like the console market share buys like a sports game a year. Because
Yeah, right.
I swear to you,
Of your
dude,
2
like,
games a year you're gonna buy, one of them's gonna be
is
NBA.
Madden,
NBA,
you know,
yeah, it's
one is
Madden.
Madden or NBA or something.
Right.
And so if you think of that, and then if you think of how prominent, like, quite frankly, Call of Duty is on consoles, those 2 games might be Madden and Call of Duty every year.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they buy.
Yep.
You know, I know that's been true historically for my brothers. Like, they buy like the new Madden every year, and they buy the new Call of Duty. Now Fortnite's, throwing a mix into things, but like, they and their friends, that's largely the games they buy every year. And it's crazy. So many people pointed out on Instagram, crazy that these games, these sports games, which have so little like delta year over year, remain at the $60 price point.
Yeah.
Damn, with $120, you could either buy 2 Maddens, 2 years of Maddens, or like 6. What's Journey retail at? Do you know? Like,
Journey, you can get on the Epic Store for I think $15.
Yeah, and I probably when it released it was like 20, 30 max, right?
Probably not.
Like,
I think it was probably low still.
Yeah,
it's 15
like
right now. Yeah, on Epic Store. It's
just that that demographic of the gaming market is just conditioned totally different. I don't, it's understandable when somebody transitions over to PC, they see the breadth of of game experiences. I think this is another thing I want to touch on real quick before we move away from price. The $60 price point now digitally also for the AAA games historically came from the fact that that's what they were at retail, and we broke down exactly how those prices used to shake out. Long story short, a $50 game, only $8 would actually go to the developer. The rest goes to the publisher or goes to retail buyback and whatever, like stocking shelves. PC gaming is maybe entirely to thank for in Steam and the rise of the digital workshops for like changing up how that works, right? That distribution model flipped from that retail model to a 70-30 split, right? Which was revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yep. And enabled, I think that's why you see a greater diversity in like not monetization options, but on PCs, there's just more indie games at a lower price point. Like you said, more sales happen faster. Yeah. The market, different segments of the market condition differently. So
yeah,
anyway.
I think it's really interesting because on console, I think a lot of people get pigeonholed from their like knowledge of console gaming with the people buying Madden and Call of Duty only, that a lot of people underestimate even the like breadth of video game experiences that exist. And I think a lot of the negative opinions on video gaming probably stem from the stereotype of like console gaming, of this Madden and Call of Duty are the only games that exist kind of concept, right?
Yep. Absolutely. This touches on so many things that we can do a separate one, like where does that segment of the market get their video game news?
Right.
I mean,
that's super interesting.
They still get. I know a lot of those people just still they buy their games based off of TV ads,
which is crazy, right? Yeah, like
it's nuts. Like
yeah,
they don't even know what IGN is.
Right.
They've never heard of an IGN.
They don't even know that they're supposed to hate IGN and everything they say.
They don't know anything about any of that. IGN being like, I would say, one of the more well-known names.
One of the best known.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, that's just whack. You choose what game you buy based off of the Super Bowl commercial?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Again,
I guess they probably also eat at like Olive Garden a lot and buy a lot of Coke products.
But maybe there's a
That's the American
there.
dream, my dude.
You like the consistency of that big corporate experience,
Of that unlimited breadsticks, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, dude, those are good though. To be or not Toby, who was here, Turtle Fist Pump, said mods and emulators are one of his favorite things about
Emulators
PC.
are great, yeah.
I asked him, what games do you play only because they have mods? And he said, I legit bought Skyrim a second time when I built my PC so that I could mod the hell out of it.
Skyrim is probably like one of the best examples of a game with mods that exists. There's literally a mod that turns all the dragons into Thomas the Tank Engine. And it looks like good as fuck.
He said, Thomas the Tank as dragons is 10 out of 10.
Yes, see? Exactly, Toby. Yeah, you know.
He also said Gmod is tons of fun, and people have made tons of cool games out of it. That's Gary mod, right?
Yeah, that's Gary's mod. Yeah, that game has just like games within it. So many. It's unbelievable. Like Warcraft 3 is like my childhood, right? Warcraft 3 is the game I played the most. That's where I played Dota and all of that. That game, like, I didn't play that fucking game. Screw playing the like RTS Warcraft game. That shit sucked. We played custom games exclusively, all community made in the Blizzard like game editor, and that's all we played. And I could list off like 50 that I played regularly, including Dota. Dota was literally a mod. Like Dota, League of Legends, MOBA genre in general came from a mod, right? A community made mod, and that would have never existed if PC didn't exist.
Yep. Oh, for sure. I'm trying to find so many people coming out with, they prefer PC. Several of them mentioning that they prefer PC, but they play console because they don't have money to invest in a PC right now, or because their friends are all on console, which...
Yeah, crossplay is a huge issue. It's still an issue. I can't believe I'm saying it's still an issue, but it's still a huge issue.
Yeah, it's nice to see that some studios are, and publishers are opening up to that. But like, we talked last time about how the different platforms are kind of managing that. Nintendo and PlayStation have remained relatively closed on that front.
But we also talked about how hard it is to balance a competitive landscape across different control like formats, right? So it's hard.
Yes, but like, why can't
why can't Rocket League be? Well, it is. Rocket League is like one of the only games that's cross-platform everywhere. So
yeah, Rocket League, Fortnite are some examples that come off the top of my head. Destiny 2 actually did. Kudos to Bungie after they split from Fuck Division, like because
God.
Yeah, we just watched that fucking video.
God, chill out, bro.
Stupid ass Activision. They what's it called? As soon as they split, I remember. I was just complaining about the 30 FPS on Destiny 2 on console, and I kept thinking when they released the PC port, I was like, this is such bullshit that I need to buy this game again on PC to play this fucking thing. Like, there's no way they can't. Like, there's got to be a fucking database somewhere that says what gear I have and ties it to my account.
Do you want to talk about fucking Killer Instinct, a game which was an Xbox exclusive, which came to PC on the Windows Store and is now on Steam? And literally, if you own one, you cannot they don't interact at all. Literally, the Windows version like exists in the Xbox universe, and the Killer Instinct exists in the Steam universe. And their crossplay can only be through like one specific mode. You can't even play ranked between the versions. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe, knowing that sometimes technical things, like maybe that code is shit, and
I'm sure it has to do with the code being shit.
Like, it could totally be, but moving like from here on out, games that don't have that feature, it's just like,
it's dumb.
Come on, fuck you, man. Yeah.
All right, you got a couple more spicy ones for us?
I am going through here. When I was younger, I played. JD Patchy says, when I was younger, I played games such as Halo CE and Age of Empires on PC. So he played the first Halo on PC. I made a transition to console, and I have been playing there for about 8 years. However, I preferred the controls on PC and the overall performance I got from it. So I'm working to build my own PC at the moment. So he actually had a PC to console, back to PC kind of story.
He did that politician flip-flop.
I said, what caused you to switch to the console back in the day? He said it was the 360 because of Halo 3, and then
For
the Black Ops
exclusives,
that
right?
came
And
out.
that's what we said. One of the big reasons people push for console is these exclusives, and Nintendo has maintained that so well that people still buy Nintendo consoles wholeheartedly, right?
Yep.
Like Nintendo's showing you how to, if you want to make your console matter in the PC universe, you be Nintendo because, and that sort of sucks, right? Because their games are inaccessible to anyone who doesn't have a Nintendo console, but works business-wise for them.
You know, to be fair, usually the Nintendo consoles are a nice chunk cheaper than the comparative
It's true. They are doing that. Yeah.
consoles. You know what's also interesting? I hadn't really thought of, but it's interesting that the Switch, you know, which we were talking about, has that portable edge to it, like exists next to the Nintendo DS. You know, like
The fact that both those consoles exist is ridiculous. It's so funny.
yeah, I was thinking
They sort of stopped
that at
supporting the 3DS pretty much, but
yeah, it's kind of chilled a little bit. Like from my perspective, I was thinking back to my experience that you touched on. I started off on a Game Boy playing Pokemon.
Game Boy.
That totally got me into wanting the 64.
Yep.
You know, so that hardware path, Nintendo was ahead of the game a little bit on that.
I guess
you
so.
know?
Yeah, they were indoctrinating you into the cult so that you would stay around.
Yeah, they got you hooked. They had some lower friction entry point for you, get you hooked on the IP, and then create some other version on a more higher fidelity version. I remember was it that like Pokemon like gym or some shit, like you could load in the cartridge of your Game Boy game and like play them in a big 3D environment.
Pokemon
You know
Stadium.
what I'm talking about? Pokemon Stadium. That was it. Pokemon Stadium.
That shit was great.
It's-
Yeah, I've owned every Nintendo home console. Like that, I can't say that about any other company, but I've owned since the N64, which was the first one I was like aged to buy. Right, I've had an N64, GameCube, Wii U, and a Switch. Right, like, and I can't say that about any other company.
I buy a Nintendo console every generation just for Smash.
Right.
Touching on the exclusives thing. And because it's so fucking good in the hearth.
It is. It's amazing.
I'm happy that they've stuck to that. You know, like so many platforms and developers and studios have lost their way in a sense on that, right?
On the hearth,
or at least they choose to go a different direction,
right?
Whatever the hell. Like when Halo 5 came out with no split screen, it felt like for so many people, you can go back and look at the reactions. Everybody's like, "What?" Like
right.
Halo is all about. Like even Halo 4 had 4-player split screen. I mean, anyway.
Rough.
So yeah, Nintendo is what's up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about rounds it out. I said
cool.
there's literally hundreds and hundreds of fantastic comments from you guys. Be prepared for follow-up like YouTube videos surrounding some of these things and these topics, and maybe you'll get shouted out there too. So,
Sick.
yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Where can people find us?
If you want to find us at our website, koalaentertainment.com. There you have links to all our social media. Most importantly, our Discord, which is not verified because Discord is still not doing verification. So click on the Discord link on our website, and that will get you into the Discord. There you will begin to participate in the universe of our upcoming game. Several projects right now. Yeah, several projects hitting milestones, getting some lore details as they move on.
We check out. There's lore stuff now, like a lot of lore stuff, stories, pictures. Check it out. Tell us what you think of it.
Yep. Let us know what you think. Let us know your theories if you've got some. Also, on top of that, we do giveaways every 3 weeks on the Discord. So if you want some free stuff, join there. We do some great giveaways on our Instagram as well. Again, all those links are our social media at KOKoala_ENT on Twitter as well. Maybe we'll do some Twitter giveaways. I don't know. Anyway.
All right.
Right on, guys.
And buy the new shirt.
Yes.
That thing is so sick.
Yeah, the Koalatea Summer, that shirt and that design, we are working on some stickers for you guys. We know that you guys have loved stickers, some Koalatea Summer. That design will go away at the end of the summer. So please consider supporting our studio with some sweet merch.
Yeah.
And Let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought of console versus PC. What did you think of these things? Or did we miss anything? Any reason why consoles are superior?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Let me know what other weird instruments I should buy since I have a whole collection now.
I have a charango, this little like South American
What?
ukulele looking thing.
Get that next time.
Yeah, it's somewhere around
Next
I'll
week.
play.
You're playing us some charango.
Okay.
You have to learn the
You
theme.
have to, like,
you have to
kinda
learn the theme song on it. Yeah, we'll do a charango jaw harp duet.
if I can remember, yeah. Okay. I'll hit you with a fat A minor that you can solo over.
Perfect.
That thing's in C, right?
I have absolutely
The
no idea.
piano trumpet?
Guess we'll
Oh,
find out.
yeah.
Oh, the piano trumpet's in C. Yeah.
Yeah, so tune in next week to hear our awesome live pre-quality time concert.
I'll do some pentatonic scales. That's all it can do.
All right.
All right.
Right on, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.